Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today, as you can judge by the title of this video, just about everything that most people currently have an issue with in World Warships is in this match. The only thing really missing from completing the full list of complaints is just a carrier. Although I do think carriers are actually pretty fine where they're at now. There are still a couple of balancing issues here and there, but I'm pretty sure if we would have a carrier in this game, we would have just about every single issue that most people have with the game in one match. So, I'm in the Tier 10 Soviet battleship Kremlin, which is one of the issues with the game right now. The Kremlin is clearly the best Tier 10. Even for the current meta where engagement ranges are extremely far out, for some reason the Kremlin is still quite accurate at its maximum range of 20 kilometers. Now, is it laser accurate every time like it is from about 15 kilometers in? No, but it is still good enough to be effective at 20 kilometers, which is not terribly close range or far for Tier 10. It's about medium range by Tier 10 standards, especially with how Tier 10 games go mostly now. They're definitely just long-range sniper matches for roughly definitely the first 10 minutes or so, and then from about 15 minutes in, so maybe the last 5-ish, sometimes maybe the last 8 minutes, the match tends to get a bit closer. Used to, it was about the first 5 or so minutes was a sniper match, and then the from about 15 to 10-ish minutes, it was a bit more mid-range. Then the last half of the game was usually much closer when I started to play way back, 2 years ago. And now engagement ranges are much farther out, and the Kremlin, who's supposed to be very good at medium range in, is still pretty good at medium range out. Plus, the armor of the ship is probably some of the best armor in the game. Its citadel is exposed on the side, but again, in the current meta of sniping and battle tanking, this is probably your best bet. Except for maybe, the Kurfürst probably does have better bow armor, since it does have that 60mm strip that protects it from Yemi citadels over most of its bow. The Kremlin is still no slouch. If you angle correctly with your bow armor, nothing's getting through. You may get pinned by Yemi every now and then if it is in the game. On top of that, Kremlin is definitely the best battleship to deal with the current state of HE. Its deck armor is just a middle finger to most HE rounds, and it does have the Soviet damage con that cools down extremely fast. And with the special Russian commander, Kuznetsov, I think that's his name, I don't remember off the top of my head, you get an extra heal and damage con when you go below 10% of your health. A very, very useful trait, and I have him on my Kremlin. He is only a 15-point commander right now, so I don't have fire prevention on my survivability build, because that is what I'm running on this Kremlin right now. So I got a pretty good setup here. I got Kuznetsov, got the Kremlin. Now, if you would have noticed at the start of the match, I don't know if I'm going to show it or not or in editing, but anyway, there are 2 Smolensk on the enemy team, and that's going to come into play much later. So here's an example. 18 kilometers away, the Yami. This dispersion, it's not bad, but it's not good, but it's not terrible either. If I would have aimed probably a little bit lower, the Yami did turn, I probably would have gotten a decent pin on him. Now, compare that to German dispersion at this range, which before the nerf, which is just a freaking shotgun. Speak of Smolensk, there's one of the buggers right there, which is just a shotgun at that range, which is what the Kremlin should be at that range. So that's one of the issues with the Kremlin, on top of all the other stupid, silly things about it. Oh, 2 Smolensk. Here's another one, 13 kilometers in. He's not sitting. Well, he is sitting still, but I saw that his smoke started to move, so I gave him a bit of a lead there. Z52 about 6 kilometers and get an overpin on the Smolensk, of course. Other Smolensk is, of course, targeting me right now. Now, I am probably much further up than most battleship players would be at this point in stage, but hey, Kremlin, you got to get within that 15 kilometers to get that laser dispersion, and that's what I'm trying to get to, because if I want to deal with those Smolensk, I need to get close enough to where my shells can hit, because I'm just going to overpin them most of the time with these 457mm guns. Even if they're broadside at range, you're still probably going to overpin them because of Soviet ballistics. And speaking of broadside at range, there is a Yami 15 kilometers out, which just showing me his broadside. And do I get anything off of him? Yes, I do. 2 Citadels for 43,000 damage. So there goes half of his health. And there's a Thunderer. Lovely. And that Thunder is actually using HE. He's HE spamming when he has my broadside. And look, the Yami is spamming HE. This really threw me for a loop. I mean, because do I really care about Yami HE? No, it's okay. But if he was using AP, he could be punching the crap out of my Citadel right now. So anyway, he's still saying broadside, so I take advantage of that. Again, unfortunately, he missed his sweet spot. We got this Yami up here about 9 kilometers away, who he's fairly angled to me, so I'm not sure if I'd be able to pin him, although I probably could with these guns. But this one out here, I'm like, well, he's just sitting there just so perfectly. I'm pretty sure I can erase his health again. So I aim for his rear, and he is actually turning slightly right there. I didn't realize that when I was playing. Yami up closer using his AP. If you notice right there, he did take a good chunk off my health, but I do have my repair going, so I did compensate for that right there. I get a 10k salvo for that Yami, and I'm like, oh, this guy's really getting close, and there you go. He's showing me his cheek, so I'm waiting for my guns to reload. Yami, 14 kilometers away, still spamming HE at me, and I'm like, what is this guy thinking right now? Like, I'm in the Kremlin. He should be using AP. He can Citadel me from this range. And this Yami, oh, look at that lovely dispersion 7 kilometers away. Unfortunately, aim a little bit too low, and I do not get his sweet spot. And that Yami threads those torpedoes beautifully, but he doesn't thread all of them. Smolensk 10 kilometers away, just absolutely throwing HE in my face. And most of my health that's missing right now is from HE. So I pop a damage con, that's done. Smolensk 10 kilometers out, give him a bit of a lead. And will he turn? He does turn in a little bit, but he bounces it. Go figure. The other Yami has figured out what the 2 key on his keyboard is for, and as you saw, that was a pretty good hit on me right there. I think I was a little bit too steep there for him to actually sit it on me. He's showing me flat broadside, perfect right now. Unfortunately, one shell just bounces. He is turning, but with the speed of my shells, hopefully they'll get there before he can complete his turn. There's the HE from the Smolensk. Ooh, another shattering. And then he switches back to HE. I don't know, 3 fires right there from the Smolensk, I think from that Yami. There goes Kutuzov's special skill, the Will of Victory. And then I pop a repair on top of that just to be sure that I don't die from the amount of HE I'm eating right now. So I'm eating HE from Smolensk to my left, Smolensk to my right. I'm at 2.4 million potential damage so far. And he hasn't set a fire yet, yet Yami is still spamming HE at me. And I'm just, this is like one of the strangest matches I've been in. So Smolensk 14 kilometers out, sets a fire on me. I'm trying to lead him a little bit there, just guesstimate where he's going to turn. So got 2 fires on me. There's the Zhao who's adding his HE on top of everything else. 4 seconds until I can pop damage con. Smolensk still just tearing up into me. There go, pop damage con. At 3,000 health left. I'm watching to see where that Conqueror's at and where that Zhao is at as well. And I go undetected, thankfully. So 2.8 million potential damage, and we aren't even 9 minutes into the game. Oh, that is a lot of HE. Now, admittedly, the only reason I survived this is because I'm in Kremlin with Kuznetsov. But just the amount of HE I was eating there from the 2 Zhaos. That's 32 guns firing every 4 seconds. 32 guns every 4 seconds. That's somewhere in the neighborhood of back in the day being up against like 4 Des Moines that are targeting you. It's somewhere around there. I know that's actually more guns than that setup there with the Smolensk, but the Smolensk fires much faster than the Des Moines. So that was an unholy baptismal of HE that I only survived because I was in the Kremlin. So now I'm like, well, crap, almost all my health is gone. I've got 1 repair left after this next one. And there's the Smolensk again out at 16 kilometers. There's a Smolensk at 11 kilometers who's sitting broadside onto me, so lining up the shot, giving me a healthy lead, and letting the shells go. And let's see what this does. He was turning slightly, so there we go. I did manage to Citadel him. And it looks like, thankfully, my team, who actually has been supporting me this entire time by not hiding, is also focusing him down as well. There's the Thunderer again. And he's still shooting HE, which I actually rather it would have been AP at this point. Because that I can at least tank, although that probably would have been a nasty hit if it was AP. So now I am completely done with damage cons. Kuzuzov has already popped his talent, so I don't even have that to fall back on. So that Smolensk is down, that Yami is down. I think that other Smolensk is still up over there. I wasn't paying attention. No, actually, I think he's done. So anyway, I am now at 2.8 million potential damage done, 82,000 actual damage done, and believe it or not, if you look up at the top, this is actually kind of a blowout for my team. We're only down 3 ships. The enemy team is down 6 ships, and most of them have been over here where I'm at because the team actually at sea has actually done a very good job of supporting each other and spotting, which is a rare thing in tier 10 games nowadays. So it is evident that this somewhat ruffle stopping so far is actually due more to good team play and not just the matchmaker putting a bunch of potatoes on one team so far. So if you look at the minimap, the enemy team actually is, well, they were capping B. I guess the Venezia got tired of capping. Actually, you can tell he's running away from the other BB that's going to B. And you look like there, I was checking to see how much of my AA mounts are still up, and only 50% of them are still alive. And this is before the Kremlin nerf, where those AA mounts are going to lose half of their health. So probably, I mean, and honestly, after eating that volume of HE, most of my AA guns should probably be just a pile of ash. So, you know, still have half of my AA intact, but there's no CVs in this game. So I tried to take a shot at the Venezia, but you know, it was going behind the island. Didn't manage to get that in. And I'm out of everything now. No heals, no damage cons. Any fires that get set, they're going to burn their entire time, and I can do literally nothing about it. That is the drawbacks of the Soviet battleships. Now, what I have managed to do is tank and just take the attention of the Smolensk and the Thunderers for my team. So I have done my job as a battleship as far as tanking goes, but I mean, it wasn't particularly fun. It was actually quite stressful, because I was having to time my damage cons and my repairs. It got to the point where I was just slamming them as soon as they came off cooldown. And that's one of my bigger gripes about HE, is that there's very little skill involved in both aspects of HE, and in the aspects of HE spam, and the aspects of trying to cope with HE. Because with AP, you have to angle, have to know, can I pin them here, can I pin them there, and in defense of AP, you gotta think, is my armor thick enough to bounce them at this angle? Do I need to bow tank them? Do I need to angle like this, or an angle like that? Whereas HE, it's just, no matter what you do, you're gonna get it. And with the Smolensk of all, it doesn't do its damage through pins unless you're fighting like destroyers or like light cruisers. Against everything else, it's just through fires. And fires are pretty much RNG, and they do pretty much the damage of almost a citadel. And when you can set 3 fires in one salvo against about one enemy, it's kind of silly in my opinion. But again, this is an arcade game, and there does need to be balance in the game. It's just that the Smolensk just kind of pushes it to over where it should be, in my opinion. But anyway, back to the game. Also, there's a Puerto Rico in this game. That was the other thing that's wrong with the game. I don't know if he's alive or if he's sunk at this point. So anyway, Thunderer, he was one of the other ships that was HE spamming me, and he's turning in broadside. Now, actually, Puerto Rico just sunk on Moskva. Turning in broadside, and there I go. Gets a citadel on him for my revenge for burning my ship. And then I immediately go back bow in to give him as small as a profile as I can for his HE. That is true. That is about one of the few things you can do with HE, is give them a small profile so they don't set multiple fires. But as you guys saw earlier, I got 3 fires set on me when I was bowing to the Smolensk, so it didn't really seem like it mattered all that much. Alright, so enemy team is down to just 3 ships, 2 cruisers, and a destroyer. And I think one of the cruisers is the Puerto Rico. Yep, there's the Zao. So again, Zao, I have no repairs left, no damage cons left. The best thing I'm going to do for my team right now is honestly just survive. Done 106,000 damage. Not a whole lot of damage by Kremlin standards, but hey, I definitely did my job. Oh, there's a Shimakaze. Did my job with tanking. 11 kilometers away, giving my full broadside. And squish. There we go. Get 109,000 damage done in the Kremlin. Just over my amount of HP done to their team. And we're about to cap there on points, and there we go. So quite a spicy round, if you will. 109,000 damage done. Darn right I got Dread. I don't know how I didn't get Fireproof. I don't. Team score, number 2 on my team. I got above the Kleber that got 4 kills. So if you look right here, damage reached 159,000 damage, 34,000 from fires, 83,000 from HE, 40,000 from AP. So well over 110,000 damage, 120,000 damage, I think roughly, that I received from the enemy team in this game was just from HE. The AP, I'm pretty sure the only person that shot AP at me were the 2 Yammies, and one of them was still HE spamming. So that's pretty sad when you see a Yammy revert to HE spam. And I honestly thought he was a bot there for a while because he just stuck with HE and that was it. But he did switch to AP, and he got a decent hit off of me, but then he switched back to HE again. I don't know if he was being harassed by a destroyer or anything, and that case I don't know why he was focused on me with his guns when he really should have been trying to deal with the destroyer with his HE, and he should just loaded AP to deal with me. I don't know, but just most of what was wrong with the current high tier games right there is in that match. My team won pretty substantially. It wasn't a complete blowout like I've been getting a lot recently. I'm so sick of those blowouts too. It's ridiculous when a team wins without losing a ship at tier 10. And god dang, just I really wish I had my face camera going to just show you guys the look of disgust on my face from having to deal with just 2 small links and a Thunder and an HG spamming Yami all focusing on me. But anyway guys, I thought some of you would enjoy seeing me endure that and seeing what I think that was probably like the most I've been HE spammed. And I mean, when you have a Yami throwing HE at you, that's a sign things are pretty bad. Yeah. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We are on our way to 8,000 subscribers now. You guys have done a fantastic job with getting us over 7,000. We're well on our way to 8 now. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. And hope to catch all of you guys in the next one.